There is a move of God that brings things together that have fallen apart. And I want to take a moment and talk to some people today who are dealing with things that have fallen apart and gone dry and seem hopeless and in despair. There is a move of God that will cause things to come together. And when God starts bringing things together, he will bring things together that fit together. When you get in it, you'll put bones together that don't go together. But when God starts doing it, he will put the right bone in the right place to connect with the right bone. Stop manipulating people because you're going to create a distorted body. God brought together bone to his bone. Everything moved toward what it was supposed to be connected to. You can't tell other people who to work with, who to serve with, who to grow with. Bones come together based on fitting, based on function, based on service. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but God is going to cause a drawing to happen, and bones are going to come together, bones to his bone. I feel a coming together. I want to stop here and thank God for coming together, a coming together, a coming together, a coming together. After a long time of being in a valley of distraction and disruption, a long time of being fragmented and disoriented, God is bringing about a coming together. I need about 30 seconds of praise for a coming together, a coming together, a coming together, a coming.
I became very aware of what it's like not to have a home. You know, a home, man, is important, no matter how small it is, no matter how bare or meager. At the end of the day, you have the right to be able to say, I'm going home. And I don't care how funky of a day you had, man, if I could just get to my house, I don't care what it looked like. I don't care what the furniture looked like in there, but man, if I could just turn the key and shut the door and be in my house, that's just a moment of relief. I didn't have that. I wouldn't gotten, your car's not a home. There ain't no moving around. Once you get in the front seat, you're pretty much there. It was very, very difficult, man, but it put a determination in me too. I was determined. I was determined to be something. And my dreams of being a TV personality was bigger than, you know, I was homeless, man. I mean, you know, you're in a position where you're going, I got nowhere to go except up. I might as well keep hustling. I was in comedy. I just wasn't making nothing. All the money I was making, I was sending back home to my wife and kids. That didn't last. She got tired of that real fast. But I couldn't go back to Cleveland because I wouldn't have enough money to drive back down south to perform. One time I drove to the house in Cleveland. I finally got enough money. I drove to the house in Cleveland. Everybody was gone. I didn't see my kids for almost 2 years. I ain't see her, nothing. So they just left, boarded up the house. So I said, okay, I ain't got nowhere to go. So next thing you know, I'm in the car. I lived there, but it taught me determination, man. I'm a really, really determined person. It also taught me that no matter what happens to you, it ain't over. It ain't over. Ain't no such a thing as over. As long as God wakes you up, that means he ain't through with you yet. And if he wakes you up, you got a shot to correct it and get it right. And he kept waking me up. So I figured, okay, God wakes you up. That also means that he has something for you that you've yet to receive. So as long as he was waking me up, I figured what else? He can't take nothing else from me. I ain't got nowhere to stay, so. You have a great life in front of you. But your great life is in front of you. It's not behind you. What you did back there was learn the lessons to get you to where you are at this particular moment right here. Do you know, man, that you can actually mess your life completely up? You can jack it all the way up and you can turn around and get it right. Do you understand that? I lost everything twice. I don't know if you've ever lost everything before, but I've been bottomed out twice. I done seen rock bottom 2 times. I've been through some walls up in here, man. I'm just trying to tell you, man, identify your gift. It is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your gift. Get busy at that. If it's drawing, if it's teaching, if it's sharing, if it's caregiving, that's how you become successful. Identify your God-given gift, what he gave you at birth. If you do that, God will open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive. I am telling you, that is a fact.
I want you to write this down. Be thankful. Appreciate what you have and the possibilities ahead. Be thankful. Appreciate what you have and the possibilities ahead. I want you to get into that mindset of being thankful. Every time Jesus performed a miracle, before he performed the miracle, he would always say, Father, I give thanks. He was in a spirit of giving thanks because he knew that miracle was about to happen. There's some things in your life, things that you desire, and I want you to get up this morning in a spirit of being thankful, because you know that's going to happen. It's going to happen. It might not happen when you want it to happen, but it's going to happen when you just set up camp and reside in that place of gratitude, of being thankful. Appreciate what you want and what you have, and focus on the possibilities ahead. So many times when we become so distracted by what we are pursuing, we miss what we have. Be thankful. Appreciate what you have and the possibilities ahead. And here's what I want to share with you, and I'm encouraging you to do. I'm encouraging you to talk to yourself, to encourage yourself that you're more than able, that you're capable of changing things in your life. You are capable of overcoming anything that's standing in your way. You are capable of creating miracles. You have miracle working power in you. You are capable of dealing with adverse circumstances and growing through whatever life throws at you. So when you look at the possibilities ahead, you look with a spirit of optimism. You have a certain kind of mindset and drive and determination and a knowing that things are going to work out. And it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. What matters is how many times you get back up. That's what matters. I remember seeing, the millennials don't know about this, the fight between Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson knocked him down. Buster Douglas was from Columbus, Ohio, where I used to be a disc jockey there for many years, knew his father. And he hit the canvas with his glove, and it's like, come on, get yourself together. Buster Douglas was fighting. He was always able to conjure up something in himself, and he was going to get something that was going to predict that to beat him. And up to that point, nobody had whooped Iron Mike Tyson. he got back up. He got back up. But people thought it was over. And when he knocked Mike Tyson down, there was a headline that said, "The blow that went around the world." Everybody was in shock. Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, he was the intimidator. But buddy, let me tell you something. Buster Douglas from Columbus, Ohio, his mother just died and he was fighting with a spirit and a mindset, "Mama, I'm going to fight this for you." And he got up off that canvas. He got up off that canvas and whooped Mike Tyson's behind. Yes, he did. I'm not making this up. This is real. And I'm saying to you, sometimes life is going to knock you down, but because you have been knocked down don't mean that you are finished. No, you knocked down, but not knocked out. No, you got some reasons. It might be your children. You got some reasons. It might be your own sense of pride and determination and the kind of life that you want to create. You got some reasons like me. It was to be able to take care of my mother. And that just won't let you stay down. You have something special. You got greatness in you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And Willie Jolly was right. A setback is a setup for a comeback. You've got comeback power.
I thought, what if I look at this differently? What if I look at what have I done in my life during my most difficult times? And this might be useful for you too, to kind of look at your own life and say, when I was in the toughest times and I was able to pull myself through, how did I do it? What were some of the elements that made the biggest difference in your life when you did those turnarounds, when you made it through whatever was your toughest times? The first thing I believe you got to do to turn yourself around is really take control of your mind, or specifically, you got to feed and strengthen the mind. The mind is an interesting place, isn't it? I mean, fear can take us over. Uncertainty kind of unleashes all these thoughts that make us start to believe very often that things will always be bad, that we'll never be able to turn it around, or that we don't have the capability. It's just the nature of those inner voices that everybody feels at times. Now, maybe you're not feeling it right now, but I'm sure there are times that you have. So to take control of your focus, what do? Well, all of a sudden I had a tumor, or way back when I'm on my own trying to figure out what to do, I realized that somehow to take control of my mind, I had to feed it.
There he is.
And if I didn't feed my mind, I'd be living on the weeds that came around me. I mean, today, if all you do is pick up your phone, you've got all kinds of messages that are going to get your full attention. Flip on Google and check out the news, or watch CNN, or whatever it is you do, it's constantly coming at us. Something nutritious, something strong. If we are what we eat, we are what we read, we are what we listen to. Later on, I began to feed my mind, about understanding the ideas around health principles and how people had turned themselves around who had tumors, who had cancer. I did the same thing most of my life, starting when I was 17, by listening to audio tapes. I went out and I was constantly feeding my mind. I didn't let or hope that a good idea would interrupt me or interject itself upon me. I knew a great idea had to be pursued. I had to go after it. I had to feed and strengthen my mind every single day. So I did it with audio tapes, I did it with books, and I did it by literally doing incantations, saying to myself something over and over again with such intensity till my mind began to believe it. So reading, listening, feeding your mind is the first step to get out of that place of uncertainty and to start to re-tap into your real ability to thrive in any environment. What's the second key? Well, number two is you got to feed and strengthen your body. As simple as that sounds, if you've been around any of my work at all, you know I believe physiology first. And sometimes even try to feed your mind. You can feed it, but those thoughts keep coming back. What's going to change that mind faster than anything else is a radical change in your body, a radical shift in your physiology. How do you do it? Well, think about this. When times are really uncertain, fear creeps in. And what is fear? Fear is something quite physical. It takes a hold of you when it's really there and intense. We've all had that gut level fear, that dark night of the soul at times where it feels like, nothing's going to work. So how do you turn it around? Yeah, you feed your mind, but you also strengthen that body. When's the last time you really pushed yourself? You went on a run, a slight jog or a walk, but at the end, you pushed yourself for that last 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was, till you felt like your heart was pumping up, like going to spit out blood, where there was an intensity in you. I know I sound over the top, but that's when I turned myself around. But again, I pushed myself so hard, like I had nothing left, and I pushed myself even more. And when that blood started rushing in me, when that was pumping in my brain and my body, or go out and lift weights, go out and push yourself and feel yourself have to force through whatever was your limitation before. When that gets inside you, that physical strength again, that sense of breaking through, every part of you starts to operate differently. Your body changes, so does your mind. What's the third key? Well, that third step is you got to get a role model that inspires you and really shows you the way. One of the biggest things that'll change you once you're mentally and physically strong is you need to believe. You need not just have a sense of certainty, but you got to believe that there is a pathway to get to where you want to be. Whatever it is you want to change, whether it be your body, your mind, your emotions, your finances, your relationship, you need a role model.
Now, how easy is it to get up in the morning when you're pouring it on, doing the best you can, anxious to get going, make progress toward your dreams? It's a whole different story. When you're resting to renew your reserves, it's much different than resting to avoid your day. When you're psyched up and excited for your life, when you're excited for what you've planned to accomplish for the day, it's amazing you'll wake up before the alarm clock even tries to startle you awake. Your successes fuel your ambition. Your successes give you extra energy. Your successes pave the way for more successes. It's the snowball effect. With one success, you're excited to meet another, and another, and another. And pretty soon, the disciplines that were so difficult in the beginning, the disciplines that got you going, are now part of your philosophy. How do you know when you're successful? Do you have to be a millionaire? No. All we ask of you is that you earn all you possibly can. If you earn $10,000 a year and that's the best you can do, that's enough. God and everything else will see to it that you're okay. The key is to just do the best you can. If it's $10,000 a year, wonderful. If it's $100,000 a year, wonderful. If it's $1 million a year, wonderful. It doesn't matter $10,000 a year or $1 million a year. It doesn't matter as long as you've done the best you possibly can. Earn the most you possibly can. Be the most you possibly can. And here's why. The essence of life is growth. The essence of life is growth, to do the best you can. And here's what's interesting. Humans are the only life form that will do less than they possibly can. Humans are the only life form that will settle for less. Every other life form except human beings strive to its maximum capacity. How tall will a tree grow? Approximately. As tall as it possibly can. You never heard of a tree growing half as high as it could. No, trees don't grow half. Trees send their roots down as deep as possible, stretch their limbs up as high as possible, produce every leaf possible and every fruit possible. As a matter of fact, you never heard of a human physically growing half. We keep growing until we're done. Now that's a part of life we can't control. It's genetically coded. And that's probably why we keep growing till we're